Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our monthly meditation. We began in February, about 2 days after the invasion of Ukraine. And so at that time, Huynh agreed to help lead. At that time, we did not have recording set up yet, so we missed the first one. And after that, we try to have recording for every month. And this meditation in terms of peace prayer to try not only to help people in Ukraine, but actually it's for our own well-being also, to try to cope with this uncertainty. As a Buddhist, we know that part of life. However, with this meditation, it have us together and then try to sit as a group so the positive energy spread among us. And we have been a very good teacher to lead us. Every month we take turn as a male and female, so have an equal opportunity. So this month is very special. We have Xuan. Xuan have been supporting Han, and now she goes solo and to help lead us with this meditation. And thank to Ernestine, who highly recommend to have Xuan to come in for this month. I know Xuan many years since we went to their house, right, with Ernestine, silent meditation, and all that when you're still in Kahala area. And then Xuan has been very helpful with my Chaminade Catholic University student who are Catholic by birth and by training. However, they want to learn more about Buddhism, so they have been taking Buddhism class, and with all this outside classroom activity, so some of them may not be able to come with me on the day that I go. So they said they would try to go on their own. And I heard that some of them went, and Xuan was very kind to help them to understand. And they told me Xuan gave them a lot of books on Buddhism and meditation to read. So for me, Xuan and also Tan, a long timer for HAIB, has been a very good support of HAIB activity in every way. And so many of us know Xuan already. However, I would like to have a good introduction for her as well. Xuan started practicing mindfulness meditation with many teachers that we already know, right? Stephen Smith, Michelle McDonald, and they are the father of Vipassana Hawaii in 1984. I remember that when they lead the meditation during those times. And Xuan has attended some Zen retreats as well with Ekin Rochi and also the mindfulness tradition Thich Nhat Hanh. She has helped organize Vipassana Hawaii retreat led by all these Burmese famous Sayadaw, such as U Pandita, U Lakhana, U Tusana, as well as Lady Treat, again with Stephen Smith and Michelle McDonald, and Graham White, Kamala Master, and Steve Armstrong, Andrea Fella, Anushka Fernando Pule. With Ekin Rochi instigation, Xuan and her husband Han volunteered to teach meditation at the Honolulu Federal Detention Center and the Women Correction Center until 2020. After, we never know about Xuan. We just know that she's a very kind and loving lady who helps everyone. Now, her background is in American and English civilization literature, even studied law. And one thing that surprised me that when I learned more about Xuan, that she was an attorney practicing at her father's law office in Saigon before coming to the United States in 1979. Her fondest memory is being awakened at 5 a.m. by her maternal grandmother chanting the Mahayana Sutra, and then she would be going to the Theravada temple, her paternal grandmother. She loved to read Dharma book by Bhikkhu Bodhi and Bhikkhu Analayo, as well as book by Saint Teacher, uh, Ekinology and Thich Nhat Hanh. So thank you so much, Sun, for being our leader today.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
for having me, Rani. So let's start the guided meditation now. Yeah. First, make sure to sit comfortable. Leave your back upright, but not rigid. You can close your eyes, gently close your eyes, or if you prefer to keep your eyes open, just like from enough to see from the nose down to the. But I would recommend gently close the eyes, less distraction. And then feel the touching sensations of your hands, your feet, your buttocks, your lips. Is it hard or soft, warm or cold? And just listen. Receiving the sound that comes and goes on their own. And start by watching your breath, especially the out breath. Meditation teacher advised just the out breath first is easier than trying to be with both the in breath and the out breath. So where you most clearly feel the breath, either at the nostrils or the expanding, contracting sensations of the chest, or the rising and falling movement of the abdomen. And when you find the one that is most that you find most comfortable with, most noticeable, stay with that one. Michelle, my teacher, would suggest the rising and falling movement of the abdomen. You can put your hand on the abdomen at first. like a soft mental note, rising, falling at the beginning of each movement. Naturally, you will notice the thoughts coming to your mind. Can you treat the thoughts just like the sound that come and go on their own? And when the thoughts are gone, come back to the rising and falling movement of the abdomen. You can observe a pause between the rising and falling. Bring your attention to the sensations of the hands or the feet or the body. And then back to the primary object, the rising and falling movement.
Xuan, you need to unmute.
Okay, so I need to start all over again. Not very mindful. Anyway, so today I would like to talk about the 4 immeasurable boundless qualities of the mind. So these are also called the in the Pali term Brahma Vihara. Brahma meaning divine, and Vihara is abode. And the 4 qualities are first the loving kindness or in metta is the sincere wish for all beings to be happy. The second quality is compassion. In Pali, karuna, often defined as a quivering of the heart in the face of suffering and the desire to relieve the suffering. The third quality is sympathetic joy, mudita, the feeling sincerely joyful, witnessing another people's success or happiness. And the 4th quality is equanimity, upekkha, is a balance and evenness of mind. So those 4 qualities are often compared like the feelings of a mother for her children. The loving kindness is when her child is a baby and she looks at her child and just feel this sincere wish for the child to be happy no matter what. And the second is compassion. When the child is sick, then the mother wishes the child to be free from suffering. And the third is sympathetic joy. When she sees her child has succeeded, and she just rejoices at her child's success. And the fourth is equanimity. When the child has gone out in the world, she still knows the child, but she knows that she would do her best to help the child, but the joy and the suffering of the child doesn't depend on her anymore. And to practice those 4 qualities for the metta, loving kindness, the phrase is, there are 4 traditional phrases. First, may you be free from inner and outer harm. May you be safe, protected from inner and outer harm. The second, may you be free from mental suffering and distress. May you be free from physical suffering, and physically and mentally at ease. May you be able to bear the burden of life. But of course, these phrases are too long. My teacher would just say like, he just called up metta, sincerely wish the person to be happy. Or you can say, may you be well happy and peaceful. May you live with ease. May you be well, happy and peaceful. May you live with ease. I think I love that the fourth phrase, like physically and mentally at ease. May you be able to bear the burden of life. That is very realistic. So we wish the person to be, we know that we can wish the person well, but life has its own weight, vicissitude, up and down. And so the phrase for the loving kindness is, may you be well, happy and peaceful, live with ease, live in safety. And then just use your own, whichever word. Because I remember my teacher, Michelle, when she first used to the metta practice, she just feel like she doesn't feel it at all. And for me too, it takes me a long time to be able to do the metta practice, at least 3 or 4 years. I just repeat the phrase, but I don't feel anything. Even though I was trying to conjure up the feelings, but I don't feel anything. And then one day, just like it just happened on its own, just like went on like a flower would bloom. One day I just say at one of the Vipassana retreat, and I just say the metta, I just feel so happy. So be patient. If you don't feel the anything when you are saying those phrases. And for the compassion, the phrase is, may you be free from suffering. Very simple. May you be free from suffering. And for the sympathetic joy, and I was told this is the most difficult quality to cultivate, because usually when we see someone happy, the first reaction is, why not me? And so it takes some time to develop this sympathetic joy, and the phrase is, may your success never end. So, may your success never end. And for the equanimity or upekkha, the things like first, like things being as they are. Your happiness or suffering are due to your own karma. And so, just like things being as they are, and your happiness and joy depend upon your actions and not upon my wishes. So those are the 4 boundless qualities. I need to make sure I'm on time. I'm on schedule. So 6:05. Yeah. So those are the 4 qualities that we try to cultivate. It will take some time, but when all the conditions are come together, those qualities will blossom in our heart. And for some, the metta, the sincere wish for people to be happy is very easy, I think. But the mudita, the equanimity is hard, because we just want people to be happy. We don't want them to face the up and down of life. But that's very realistic. So thank you for listening. Any question?
Yeah. Thank you, Xuan. So now it's time for us to have a Dhamma discussion.
Yeah.
That's very good because that Brahmavihara, Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Ubekha is the basic of HAIB. You know, when HAIB was formed, I think I don't know who came up with the idea because we don't know because lots of people are talking about that. Anyway, so it's in the bylaw that HAIB we provide that Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Ubekha because the Brahmavihara is very important in social interaction, you know, because that you're dealing with other people. And I heard that the Buddha has about 84,000 Dhamma, and he break it down to different area for the ordained people, and then for the regular people who still live in our regular life. And I have to thank COVID. Because of COVID, we have this Zoom meeting all over the world. And so I have a chance to get into the retreat on Zoom with many teachers that I haven't known. And many times is from all over the world. In Thailand, we have a forest monk that very famous. And his name is Ajahn Cha. And if you watch the movies, Buddhist going to England, he the little short guy who was walking among this tall Caucasian monk. Somehow this Caucasian monk from England, Germany, all over the world came to Thailand and to want to study with this forest monk. In Ubon Ratchathani is the northeast of Thailand. To tell you the truth, growing up, I haven't heard much about him because I'm growing up with another two Buddhist scholar, Buddhadasa, and everyone heard of him, Buddhadasa, and the other one is Payutto. And so I just know those two main people. I don't know much about forest monk until lately because of this retreat that his disciple, he passed away already, and the disciples form a group. Right now we have a retreat from a monk from Canada. He went to Thailand. However, we are offered to Zoom. So it's about 9 days, 10 days retreat, and we get this meditation. And it's kind of interesting because as a Buddhist, you grow up as a Buddhist, you practice this, and then you heard the interpretation from different teacher. They're not different, but they look at different angle, right? And so like for Ubekha, one of the Thai Buddhist scholar said that many times people do not understand it well, and so said, okay, we just don't do anything, you know, non-action, Ubekha, and especially soon talking about parents, you know, the mother and the children. Many times most of us who are the parents know that you have concern when your children or grandchildren get into some difficulty and you want to help, and then actually to have to practice ubeka, you know, it was okay, you have loving kindness, you want to help them do everything, and then ubeka is that you have to watch them solve their own problem because they have to grow up, right? So it's just like many of us who are the teacher and also have that student who are struggle, and then especially student who very struggle and want to have A grade to get scholarship. However, couldn't really produce the A grade work. So how do you that, question to all the other teacher like Ajahn Nantia in Thailand, Ajahn Ernestine here, and other people who have experience. Open up for discussion.
Yeah.
Ernestine, could you unmute, please?
So this is Ernestine. Thank you, Xuan. Thank you, Purni, for organizing this. And thank you, Xuan. I really love the 4 immeasurables, but I loved how you talked about it in relation to mother and child. And that especially resonated with me as I was thinking about it. And also your own personal experience with patients. That certainly, these 4 are not easy to practice regularly, and having patience with ourselves is so important in doing that. So those were some really good points that you made about these. And I was thinking also, because this is about Ukraine and Russia, and we're honoring what is going on and sending metta to them on both sides of the conflict. Was especially thinking about that and opening my own heart to more compassion for what's going on. It's the other side of the world for us, and yet it feels just so devastating to be experiencing. So those are just some of my thoughts. Bowing out.
Thank you. So that brought up the question. Yeah, because most people said, okay, we know Russian and Ukraine in conflict. And if we use the Brahma Vihara, so it means that it's non-judgment. We don't have make a decision who has fault. Is it that my understanding correctly? Because we have to know the history. Putin has his own reason to invade, right? And then for the Ukraine, they don't like that. I mean, for us, close to home is the Hawaiian, and the connect, then getting to be the state. Many Hawaiian has had been suffer and is still now, and is continue and spill over into even the TMT on the Big Island. So as a Buddhist, I mean, one of my teacher close home is Reverend Fujitani, because before he passed, we did talk about Dhamma many times. I want to hear him, and I noticed that most of the answer to any of my questions about this, he said non-judgmental. Non-judgmental, the one thing, the mantra that Reverend Fujitani always told me to do. It's very difficult, and Ernestine said we have to be patient, and because most of the time people would we have our thinking hat, and then we thought of what is right, what is wrong, and we make judgment on that. And so I really like when Ernestine said we have to be patient to practice this. I need to develop more of that. Even when I listen to all these different teachers, the retreat, what else can you do when you see this is wrong? And then, because most people would say that invasion is wrong, and we tend to take side with the Ukraine. And this one we have with to support the Ukraine, because it started from the couple, the Ukraine and the Chinese Buddhist person who 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 came to seek help from the Buddhist community. So at that time, when we heard about this, I was born after World War II, but I heard about the horror of the war and also the World War One, because this family is a victim of World War One, immigrate to the U.S. from Germany, and so then he never get to see his maternal grandfather, and we don't know what happened to him. So when you heard about all this war, it's kind of we were lucky that we did not have war for since I was born right after the World War II, almost 3/4 of the century already, and then suddenly Ukraine happened. So it just kind of happened that uh, how do we handle this? Because if it gets more serious, it's going to have an impact on us. Even World War II, the US was okay until the Japanese decide to bomb Pearl Harbor. So that when everything is changing. So that's why at that point when we thought that, or at least we should, as a Buddhist, we should have anchor ourselves, our mind, and to be continue to be healthy, and not to be sucked into this issue of violence. And talking about violence, it's happened. Everyone got killed by gun on the mainland almost every week, and we heard all these things, and so it's difficult not to to be patient and non-judgment. I have a good friend, Lauren Walker. She working on this research, to understand from the victims, and then also the perpetrator also, and the forgiveness society that Roger involved in the beginning, and anyway, so anyone can help me how to maintain being non-judgmental and be patient.
I think you need to remember the Buddha's teaching, anatta, non-self. Yeah, because like in the end, there is no one, not self. Everything just keep changing and so fast. And like this morning, recently we have the teacher, he said like, the Buddha said like, in the scene, there is just what is seen. In the heard, there is just what is heard. And you know the story, the Bahia, this man, he thought like, one day like, people thought that he's a deva because he doesn't wear any clothes, and so people worship him. And then one of his friends said like, Bahia, you're not enlightened. You need to go see the Buddha, who is an enlightened being. And so Bahia came and to see the Buddha and ask the Buddha to teach him. And the Buddha would say, not now, because he's on his arms round. This is not the time. But Bahia kept asking, please teach me, teach me. So the Buddha just said this, in the seen, there is just what is seen. In the heard, there is just what is heard. And as soon as he heard this, Bahia got enlightened. And so I was thinking about it because my first reaction is the Buddha was lucky, because if the Buddha said this to my grandmother and my aunt, but they always said things in double meaning. The sentences, like they would say this, but they mean something else. And so if the Buddha has listened to, if my kind mother and her daughters has listened to this, they will say, impossible. Not in the heart, there is just what is heard. There are more than what you hear.
Right.
Yeah, but the truth is, there is no one. Anatta, that's just hearing, just seeing, but there's no one. But anicca, dukkha, anatta, you remember. So we need to remember that, but we tend to forget. So when I remember this, then, and it's not easy to practice either. In the here, there is just hearing.
Too soon. I think, like Venerable Dhamma Maitri said, we should have more time to meet once a week because it's one hour is gone by so fast, right? And then we can continue to discuss about the Dhamma. So I guess this meditation monthly we're going to end next month already because unless people thought that we should continue to do this, even a small group, and then we even it's kind of difficult to find a teacher as well, unless we have someone who can volunteer, because we like to have one man and one woman. And so what you thought about this, please let me know through the HAIB email, Hawaii Buddhist 2021 at gmail.com. And so for next month, since it's going to be the last one, and most people get ready for the holiday, so we just have it before Christmas, so December 18. And we thought that since Tan, as a medical doctor and oncologist, even he retired, and then he would be the one that finish the cycle of this monthly meditation. So he will be our teacher. And then we discussed about, usually we have 1 hour from 5:30 to 6:30. So we thought that next month we would begin about 5 o'clock. So usually for this 30th anniversary of HAIB, we have program each month. And so next month, we're going to combine the last program for the 30th anniversary of HAIB and this monthly meditation together. So to be 1.5 hours. So the first half hour with my conversation with Han, we thought that we invite some medical doctor, because as we know that if you read about this medical research and everything, one thing, the Buddha said, okay, suffering, life is suffering, right? That's what we learn about being a Buddhist. And so in medical world, when you read everything, what are cause of that? What cause of cancer? What cause of this? What is that? Stress, right? Stress, yeah. Stress is a cause of everything, right? And also, I remember my friend said, okay, depressed. And if you read backward of depressed, what it means is sad, right? So when we have depressed, we usually want to have some kind of a comfort food, sweet food. And that's kind of interesting thing. When people look at things from different angle, it's kind of interesting that depressed is turned into the dessert. So kind of opposite. Anyway, so I think Tan and I will continue to see who would be coming to have and for half an hour like conversation among medical doctor. And I thought that I would invite a psychologist also, and so to help us to anchor ourselves, get ready for the holidays. Most people have stress during holidays. I'm for one. Try to get things done, and then try to wish people happy, but then you have to go around and prepare all these things, and then so I think that would be a very good program. Or anyone has know of any Buddhist psychologist? I couldn't think of anyone. Ernestine, anyone? Nikki, anyone know of a Sun? A Buddhist?
Yeah, I know Samantha. She's a Buddhist psychologist.
Or Buddhist and
Yeah.
psychologist.
Yeah, she's like she meditates, but she's a psychologist. I think no, she has a degree. not a
Okay.
Buddhist.
Yes.
Yeah,
So she a professional psychologist and also doing meditation.
yeah,
Okay.
but she also meditates too.
Right. Okay. So yeah, that's great. Thank you, Sun. And so we work on that. So this is a preview for I know that Elaine and Dorothy and Nantia are my 3 regulars, right? And some people come and go. So please, we will try to get program out as soon as possible so you can plan. It's December 18, the Sunday, before you get into the holidays, and then we will begin at 5 o'clock. Just half an hour. Does that sound good for everyone? Okay, yeah. So we usually end the program with Metta Sutta and Tan will help us to read that. So I will share the screen and put the wording up.
Okay, yes, Purani. Yeah. Because this is a version that we use at all our HAIB meeting. This is translated from the Kalyana Metta Sutta that the Buddha taught the group of monks when they had difficulties practicing at the certain forest. And the Buddha taught the metta as a way to counteract the devas in the forest that disturb the monks. So this is an English translation of the Kalyana Metta Sutta. This is the version that we use at all our HAIB meeting. May all beings be happy. May they be joyous and live in safety. All living beings, whether weak or strong, in high or middle or low realms of existence, small or great, visible or invisible, near or far, born or to be born, may all beings be happy. Let none deceive another, nor despise any being in any state. Let none by anger or hatred wish harm to another, even as a mother, at the risk of her life, watches over and protects her only child. So with a boundless might, should one cherish all living things, suffusing love over the entire world, above, below, and all around, without limit. So let each cultivate an infinite goodwill toward the whole world. So
Thank you so much, Tan. Yeah, that version, the late Reverend Ruth Tabra, one of our previous president of HAIB, kindly make adjustment. And many of you may recall Ruth Tabra. She's a reverend at Hong Pa Hong Wan Ji, and she was active with HAIB in the beginning as well. And so she have arranged it for us to become author, and the longer one, yeah, that one I told you during this retreat, we have to say the whole long one in Pali and translation. Yes, Okay. Anyone else has any last word to stop the recording?